Testing, testing. All right, this works. All right, hello everyone. If you could please take your seats, we're about to begin. Awesome. Welcome to the 2018 Our Voice Conference.
So we would like to start by acknowledging that we are on the traditional territories of the Wendat, the Haudenosaunee, and the Anishinaabe peoples, whose presence here continues to this day.
We would also like to acknowledge the land we are on is at the meeting place of two treaties, the lands of the Mississaugas of the Credit and those of the First Nations of the Williams Treaty.
We would like to thank them and other Indigenous peoples for sharing this land with us. We would also like to acknowledge the Chippewas of Georgina Island First Nations as our closest Indigenous community and our partners in education.
Now, we would like to welcome Elder Blue for the opening ceremony of the Our Voice Fusion 2018 conference. Thank you.
Good morning, I'm coming around. Probably can't see me because I'm too short. Good morning. Don't they all look great sitting up here? They're probably all sweating buckets right now. But that's okay. I'm going to light the smudge this morning. For those of you that may have been around for Quest or some of the other conferences, you know that this is one of our traditional medicines that we use. And it helps put us in a good space. It helps let go of some of the anxiety that maybe you're feeling up here. It helps us to cleanse our mind so that we think in a good way for the day. We hear in a good way for the day. We speak in a good way. And that we can conduct our lives today in a good way. And I know that you're going to be listening and you're going to be sitting with these four leaders that are up here on the stage. And why I'm going to light this sage is so that you can make this decision today with your voting. That you can, and I hope you've read something about these four candidates up here, because they have really great, resilient stories. And I think a lot of our youth today can relate to that resiliency from coming from a place where you felt isolated, you felt not heard, you felt not listened to a place where you can help make change. And that's the stage that we're in right now, this seventh fire of our young people waking up and taking their places as leaders. Because those of us that are older in the room, we're getting kind of tired of running everything. So we're looking towards you to take the reins on this and to make change for the future through your communication and your relationship with each other. How many of you know the people that are up on this stage? Put your hand up. You guys don't know who these people are? Uh-oh. Uh-oh. You guys didn't do your homework. It's very important that you know what you're voting for. Because if you choose the wrong candidate, who's to blame? All of you. So it's very important that you study the things that are going on in your communities. You learn about the people that are going to be representing you. You learn where their ideas are. Where are their values, their understandings coming from? What have they experienced to give them that added edge over the next person? So I'm going to ask that the ancestors come and be with us as I light this sage so that you all can think in a good way. And you can come to some understandings about what needs to happen here today. I know you've got a great lineup. I've seen that already. So you have some really good workshops that are going to be happening today. I'm going to be cruising in and out of them so I can see what's going on. And we're going to give this to our people up here to smudge so that they can do this work today in a good way. So just put it over the smoke over your head so that you can think, to your ears so that you can hear, to your eyes so that you can see in a good way, to your mouth that you can speak in a good way, and to your heart so that you can live today in a good way. This is nothing magical, but it's a very powerful medicine. We don't rely on magic, we rely on those things that have got us to these stages in our life where we can conduct ourselves and we can work in a good way for all of community. Because that's what these 4 people are doing up here. They're working for community. They're working for you. They're working to bring your ideas, your thoughts, your visions into reality. And even though they're not quite sure of what they're doing with these medicines, they're making that effort, right? And that's what we look for. We look for someone who's willing to make an effort to step out of those boxes that other people have made, to have you become your own individual, your person who thinks for the community, not just for yourself, not just for your own good, not just to make yourself knowledgeable or important in a community. Because the important people in our communities are the ones that stand in the background. They're the ones that make a difference, because they're the ones that make everything happen. Not those that, like I am doing right now, standing up here in front of you, right? Anybody can stand up here and speak, but it's doing the actions. It's walking behind what you're saying. It's standing up for what you believe in. And this conference today about voice and fusion, well, we know that fusion means to bring things together, right? So it's bringing your voices together. It's bringing your understanding of what you want to see happen. It's bringing together the hard choices that you're going to have to make. Because each one of you, as you move on and you go to post-secondary education, as you choose whether or not you're going to go to a college or university, whether you're going to go right into a job placement, you're the ones that are going to shape the future for the rest of us. And it seems like it's a big burden at times. But you know what? You'll be proficient. You'll become the experts in putting these things together, putting all these changes in place, speaking for those that talk really quietly. Because not everybody finds their voice at the same time. Sometimes it takes someone else to ignite that spark in you, to give you that confidence that you need to move forward in a good way, to be able to say those hard things that need to be said in conversations. Because when you become our leaders of the future, not all your choices are going to be easy. Not all your options are going to seem like, everyone will be successful. You will have challenges. And when you're having challenges, it's when you rely on sitting together like this. All 4 of these candidates, I hope, have spoken to each other because they're representing each other, right? It's not a competition to see who's the most favorite, right? This is an opportunity for them to bring into life their ideas, your ideas, the ideas that you want to see happen in your schools, the direction that you want the schools to go into. How many of you have younger brothers or sisters at home? Put your hand up. Do you want to make this a better place for them or a hard place for them to go through? You want to make it hard for them? No, you want to make it better for them. So what choices you make leads them to the same roads that you've already walked along. So you want to make sure that those roads that you're walking along don't have a lot of interference on them. They don't have a lot of challenges. They don't have a lot of obstacles. And the only way you do that is by participating, right? It's your schools. What do you want to see happen in your school? When I was in high school, we didn't have that much of a say. We didn't have as many options as what you have today. And sometimes I think it's a little bit hard on you that you have so many options. But you're up to the challenge. When I hear our youth speaking today, and I hear the certainty in their voice, knowing where they're going, knowing what they want to do, because they have the support systems in place. The support systems in their homes, where their family are encouraging them to get your education, choose a path that you're passionate about. Don't just choose a job. Choose a career that you're passionate about. Because when you're passionate about your choices, each day is a good day. You're looking forward to making changes. You're looking forward to support those people that are trying to make these paths easier for the younger generations. As Indigenous people, we look 7 generations back and 7 generations forward. And that's a long time. As treaty people, every person that's in this room who has taken their oath of citizenship and is a Canadian citizen is a treaty partner. So which means we have to work together. We have to learn to understand each other, to understand our cultures, our beliefs, and know that in the long run, we all care about being kind, compassionate, and concerned for the future of those little ones that are coming after us. Our younger brothers and sisters, those that are not born yet, we make the space for them. So your choices are very important. They should be deliberate thoughts. Who are you going to elect to represent you? Who are you going to move into that position of that person who will listen? Because it's not only important that they speak your words, but they have to listen and understand where you're coming from and pick the best choices and help you make the best choices. Because it's not an easy job. Our 2 trustees had learned that last year when they got up and spoke the first time. Right? They were very nervous because it's something that you don't do all the time. But like with anything in life, the more you practice, the more you put it into action, the easier it becomes. It's never totally carefree, because if it is, then you're not being conscious of the choices you're making. You haven't fully thought about the options that are out there. It should be a little bit tense, but enough so that you can relax and speak the words that need to be said. So I hope you're all ready for today. I hope you're not sweating too much up here. The lights aren't that bright, so it's not too bad. And I'm sure that you'll bring to each of the people that are here today your ideas and your understanding, those collection of knowledge that you've been listening to, that direction that you see the world going to. How can you make changes? How can you represent the people in your schools, the choices that will affect the future? Because that's your responsibility. And it can be done, and I'm confident that you have all the skills that you need. You just have to step outside those boxes and try. So thank you for coming today. I'm very grateful that York invited me back again. I love to come and speak and sit in and hear the ideas that are coming, because as I sit with all the younger people, I learn. I'm not just someone who teaches, I'm someone who learns as well, because our journey is lifelong learning. And when we stop learning, we stop moving. So keep learning today, and I ask those ancestors to sit and be with each and every one of you, to bring to you good choices, to bring to you kind words for each other, and to help you walk in a good way for the day. So, hi miigwech. Have a great day.
Wow. Thank you, Elder Blue.
Please join me in welcoming Chair Corey McBain and Associate Director of Education Leslie Johnstone.
Thank you. I'm Corey McBain. I'm the chair of the board. Leslie and I are going to divide this up, and I'll speak first. Thank you, Mingzi and Stephanie. This conference is about student voice, and I want to just take a moment. I know we'll acknowledge you in the boardroom at the end of the school year, but I want to take a moment on behalf of myself and Trustee Chan, who's here today, and the trustees who are not able to be here, to just thank you for everything that you've done throughout the year. You've come into the board at a pretty transformative time, and I think there were some interesting opportunities for you because of that, and there was the student voice is always critical, and I want to thank you for the number of times that you attended the extra meetings, not just the board meetings, but director selection and policy and multi-year strategic plan. So thank you so much for for your insight, for your thoughtful reflections. Much appreciated. In a short while, you will have the opportunity to hear from 4 candidates for the student trustee role. These students will be your representatives at the board table, bringing the student voice to discussions on board policy and governance. I can tell you that we as trustees greatly value the contributions and input our students provide. I want to thank and congratulate all of the candidates for putting your name forth. It shows initiative and it shows courage. I wish you all the very best today, and what Elder Blue said about being nervous to speak, we all do, regardless of how many times we do it. I'm still a little traumatized from the last time I walked upstairs and lost my shoes, so see, boots today. Each year, this conference also gives students from all over York Region the opportunity to hear from impressive guest speakers and to share your thoughts on some important issues affecting you and your education. As trustees, one of the most important things that we do is to set the priorities for the school board through the multi-year plan. Right now, we are revising those priorities and asking community members, students, families, and staff to share their thoughts on what those priorities should look like. These priorities will help guide decisions that are made at the board and affect your education. It's very important that we hear from you about what matters to you, what you think we need to do so that you're getting the best education possible. We have been holding town halls, and it's been wonderful to see students represented at those events. There's also a survey available online. I encourage you to take a few minutes to complete the survey and share your thoughts with us. You can find the survey at yrdsb.ca/myp. By sharing your perspectives through this survey and here today at this event, you are actively helping us to continually improve our education system and your educational experience. Thank you, and I hope you all enjoy the rest of the day.
Good morning. Good morning. Welcome. I'm Leslie Johnstone. I'm one of 3 associate directors in our school board, and I bring greetings this morning on behalf of our director, Louise Sarisco. And I want to start by talking about the land acknowledgement from Elder Blue. It's important that all of us as Canadians, as people who live on this land today, learn more about the histories and perspectives of our First Peoples on this land and what it means to be Indigenous in Canada today. Learning more about one another's identities and experiences is important to building respect and understanding. You have a great opportunity to do that today with students from all across our board. Today it's about student voice, and I encourage you to listen to one another and to share your voices. I was going to remind you that you have an incredible ability to make a difference, but I'm not sure that I need to. Your peers came up with a theme for today's conference: young, passionate, powerful, because they know already that young people have the potential to affect positive change. I'm reminded of that every time I speak with one of our students and see evidence of the incredible things you are achieving. Young people are making a difference in our schools and communities every day. Congratulations to all of today's organizers and to all of you for being here and showing your commitment to making a difference. I also want to add my congratulations to the 4 student trustee nominees. It takes leadership, courage, and a real commitment to student voice and positive change to put yourself forward for this. We are so proud of all of you, and I hope you take great pride in being here today. You all have an exciting day ahead of you. It's wonderful to see so many workshops run by students and former students. I hope you all make the most of it and enjoy the conference. Thank you.
Thank you, Associate Director Johnstone and Chair McBain. Welcome to all staff and students to the York Region District School Board's joint Our Voice Fusion Conference. My name is Marilla Senwalka, and I'm the principal at Huron Heights Secondary School in Newmarket. Thank you so much for inviting me here today to be your moderator as we participate in this very important process today of electing our student trustees for the 2018-2019 school year. As students here today, you represent the 210 schools in our board. As a high school principal, I am very proud to be part of a school board where we work together as a community to support both student success and well-being. The focus of today's conference is building positive relationships through equity and inclusivity. I hope that today you spend time meeting new people, discussing ideas, and making suggestions that will benefit our entire community. The role of a student trustee is an important one. Student trustees act as a liaison between the school community and the school board. They will be chosen by you today here at this conference and by students back at their school who are watching through live streaming. The main responsibility of the student trustee is to give the student population a meaningful voice in board discussions, to act as a messenger for the flow of information and ideas between the trustee, senior staff, and student body. The life of a trustee is an engaged and full one. Our current trustees, Stephanie and Mingzi, I'm sure can attest to that. Student trustees are seated at the board table. They participate fully in the discussion portion of public board meetings and provide a report which are included in the official board minutes. Student trustees do not vote on matters before the board for consideration. Now I would like to introduce to you the 4 nominees for student trustee for the 2018-2019 school year. They are Matthew Burrows from Huron Heights Secondary School, Alan Liu from Bayview Secondary School, Belle Liu from Richmond Hill High School, and Kachao Pan from Bayview Secondary School. Welcome. You should find at your table cards that have the biographies of each of our 4 candidates. I hope you took some time to review these today. The process for selecting the New Year's student trustees has 5 parts. First, each candidate has prepared an introduction speech that is 1 minute in length. Next, each candidate will respond to a question that they received prior to today's conference. They will have 1 minute to answer that question. After the prepared question, I will draw questions from this box that I have under here and ask 2 candidates to respond to each question. Candidates, you'll have 30 seconds to share your responses with our audience. The candidates have not seen these questions prior to today. We will then ask our audience to step forward to our microphones to ask questions of our candidates. Once again, candidates will have 30 seconds to respond to your questions. And finally, our candidates will share the concluding remarks. They will each speak for 1 minute. I will be timing the responses. For responses for more than 1 minute in length, I will give you a 15-second warning. Candidates, when you hear the bell, I will ask that you stop talking, so please do plan your responses accordingly. After all the speeches have concluded, we will move to a vote, and then we will proceed. Candidates, do you understand the process? Okay, all right, let's begin. We will first start with introduction speeches. Candidates will speak in alphabetical order. You will each have 1 minute to speak with a 15-second warning. Please stop talking when you hear the bell. First, we'll hear from Matthew Burrows from Huron Heights Secondary School.
It's working? Oh, nice. Anyway, I guess I'll get started. So I was actually here in your shoes last year voting for Stephanie and Mingzi. And I remember pretty vividly because I was sitting over at that table in the corner and I was wearing a really ugly tie-dye sweater. And I came up during the Q&A, which we'll get to later, and I asked the question, why do you want to be a trustee? And the guy who responded, the candidate, he said something to the effect of, because my mom wanted me to. And I think that's a really good reason. But I've actually been asking myself this question ever since I found out I'd be here. And my answer is that a lot of friends of mine come to school every day with bags under their eyes and a weight on their shoulders because they feel they have nothing to contribute and have not found what they're passionate about. And I feel like that's a big problem with what's going on right now. When a student finds what they feel they should be doing, what they feel they should be passionate about, they're told to put it on a low priority, put marks first. And that's something I'm going to be expanding on, actually, as we go forward today. So, thank you.
Thank you, Matthew. We will now move to Alan Liu.
All right, thank you very much. So can I please have everyone raise your hands in the air, please? Everyone up in the air. Perfect, thank you. You can put them down now. As you just saw, without needing a reason or explanation, we live our lives as we're told, observing our surroundings, and rarely do we take action on the things that we see as out of place or improper. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen, staff, and fellow students. My name is Alan Liu, and together we can challenge what you thought was possible at our schools. Together, we can invest in the future leaders of our communities by providing support for the many student-led initiatives, and as well as improving the current learning environment by staying up to date with the current technology. While all of this is happening, we can also ensure that no students are left behind by providing access to all resources. Because as our board has said, together we're better. Thank you.
Thank you. We will now have Bill Liu from Richmond Hill High School.
I want to start off with an ending, an end to having no voice. Let me tell you the story of a boy. He was just like anyone else and could be sitting here like any one of you, but there was something different about this boy. He came from a rough family situation, and it affected how he performed in school. And it got to the point where he was scared for his own future. And why would he try to find help? It's not like he wanted to be known as that kid with depression and family issues, and he hated his life. The name of this boy is Bill, and that's me. But what I want to be here today to do is get rid of that stigma, to fight against the kinds of stories that people don't listen to. That ignorance that you're feeling right now. Why are you telling me his story? Why did I need to know this? That's the reason that this is so important. People don't take the time to listen to the stories of people like Bill. I'm here today to change that. I want to represent those unheard voices of York Region. Thank you.
Thank you very much. I will now call upon Kachao Pan from Bayview Secondary School.
Okay, hi everybody, my name is Kachao, and I'm just like the vast majority of you guys sitting here, like a living meme, like my name is literally Kachao. But anyways, yeah, I'm just really happy that I'm here today, and I hope that you guys keep an open mind to what I have to say. If you have read my bio, I might not be the best student here, there's a lot better students, I might be the most attractive, but I mean, yeah, just I hope you guys enjoy your day and just keep an open mind to what we have to say. Yeah, thank you.
Thank you very much. We will now move on to the prepared common question that all candidates received in advance. Each candidate will respond to the question. Once again, we will have 1 minute to speak with a 15-second warning. Please stop talking when you hear the bell. Here's the question. We are here today to talk about schools of the future. What 2 things do you see as key to the success of those schools? This time, we'll start with Alan Liu.
All right, so 2 aspects that I think are key to the success of schools is the integration of technology and the personalization of education, which if you think about it, really isn't far out of reach and is something that we can totally be pursuing today. What you see now with the development of platforms such as Google Drive, Teach Assist, Moodle, YRDSB, is that resources are easier to access than ever. However, what you don't see are the students who don't have access to the very technology required to use these platforms, preventing them from benefiting. What I'd like to eventually see is support offered for all students, whether it be in the form of a free device loan program for all students who need it, or any other form. I'd like to see more support for students. And in addition with this, with this technology, staff and teachers can work together to work on managing all the unique strengths and weaknesses that students have to develop a more effective and personalized education. Thank you.
Thank you, Alan. Next, we will move to Bill Liu.
Let's get something straight. I'm not here just to talk about these issues. I'm here to change them and build them for our future. Firstly, technology. I may not be Elon Musk or Mark Zuckerberg, but I know enough that technology is becoming so enveloped in our daily lives that it is almost now essential for a student to succeed. And by knowing this, I know that to have integrated technology, everyone needs access to it, which is why I would strongly advocate for these kinds of loans of free technology from schools and to integrate it into our communities. And that leads me to my second thing, and more importantly, community, being united. And I mean in more ways than just when the fire alarm goes off and we have to go outside together. I mean community as in being together. Imagine seeing the sad kid that's always at the back of class with their head down, now with peers to talk to. Imagine being in a community where you truly feel supported. I want to bring these kind of change to our school board and to have people's voices heard. Thank you.
Thank you. And now we'll have Kachao come up to answer the question.
Okay, everybody. So a quick question before I answer this question. How many of you guys know what you want to do in 5 years? Right, no one, like legit. Okay, a few people, that's the point. So not a lot of you guys know what you want to do, right? And I think it's very important for teachers to not only teach us the physical materials that we need to learn, like calculus, math, chemistry, but also it's very, very important to teach us what we want to do with our lives, as this whole conference is about our future, right? And I think that's one thing we should look into in the coming year. And I think the second thing that I really have a passion for is mental health issues. For people who are watching it live, I know that a lot of students in high school have been through rough stuff. It's not that we want to go through it, right? It's just life happens. And I think it's also something that the board should look into, how we can assist these students, not only physically, but like emotionally, you know? So yeah, those are like the two things I really, really want to kind of see change in the coming years. Thank you.
And now we'll go to Matthew.
All right, so when you talk about a successful school, all I can think about is a school that prepares its students, gives them the foundations they need to live the rest of their lives. And I think that's a big problem right now in our education. It made me think of a quote by W.E.B. Du Bois that says, "Education must not simply teach work, it must also teach life." And that got me thinking, because students spend about 17,000 hours, grades K to 12, doing things, a lot of them they're not passionate about. In order to get a job, a lot of the time they're not passionate about. And they don't question this, because for these 17,000 hours, we are told what we're supposed to be good at, and we're told what we're supposed to enjoy and what we're supposed to do with our lives. So we never get the chance to figure that out for ourselves. Anyway, thank you.
Thank you, Matthew. It's time to turn to our top secret questions. I will choose questions from the box here and ask that 2 candidates respond to the question. Candidates, you will only have 30 seconds to share your responses with the audience. Remember, the candidates have not seen these questions prior to today. Once the bell rings, you must conclude your answer. Okay. Question number 1 that I will read out will be for Kachao and Bill. Here's the question. What do you think the purpose of school is? So what do you think the purpose of school is?
So for me personally, I think school for me is to figure out what I want to do with life, right? It's a place where we can test out what we like to do. There's hundreds of courses at high school that we can all try out, right? There's arts, there's technology, there's computer science, there's literally a volleyball class. You can try out whatever you want. I think school, whatever that's elementary school, high school or university or just anything, it's all about what you really want to do with life. Thank you.
Okay, Bill, what do you think the purpose of school is?
I think the purpose of school is somewhere where we can learn. And I don't mean that as just learning our courses, learning what to do with our lives, but to learn how to be ourselves, to learn what we like to do, to learn what we want to do, and more importantly, to learn how to learn. Because in life, no one's going to give you homework or courses or tell you exactly which questions to do, but you're going to be figuring that out yourself. I see school as a place to learn, to develop yourself into someone who you want to be, and into someone who knows how to learn and will carry them through their own lives. Thank you.
Thank you, Kachao and Bill. Question number 2 will be for Alan and Matthew. How can you, as student trustee, encourage students to become more involved in the community? How can you, as student trustee, encourage students to become more involved in the community? So we'll start with Alan.
All right, so currently one of the issues that I see that's really holding students back from participating in our community is the lack of accessibility to be able to reach out. For example, the YRPC is based in Richmond Hill High, but one of the initiatives that I really like that they've been doing is having the satellite meetings outside of just Central York Region. By increasing the accessibility of outlets to reach out and make your voice heard, I believe that's how we can increase the participation of student involvement in the matters of our school board.
Thank you very much, Alan. So Matthew, how can you, as student trustee, encourage students to become more involved in the community?
All right, so I really like what Alan said about this with YRPC and stuff like that. It's just not accessible for everyone. But I feel a big issue with this is it's a culture thing. At school, during school, everyone's so stressed about school and their marks and all these other extracurriculars they got going on that they don't have time to make a change. They don't have time to reach out, to go to these YRPC meetings. I'm sure most of you don't even know what YRPC is, right? So I feel like you have to attack this from the roots of the issue. You have to go in and you have to think about what is important, right? You have to find the avenues for this change. Thank you.
Thank you, Matthew. So question number 3 will be for Bill and Alan. Okay. What is the biggest issue facing students today and why? What is the biggest issue facing students today and why? So we'll start with Bill.
I think that the biggest issue is not having, well, with our school board, is not having the needs or the resources to provide students with what they need. I think that courses today are more defined so as to funnel people into these kinds of careers where you know exactly what you're doing. Like a doctor, engineer, to be something that you know what you want to do. But in reality, that's not what life is. Life isn't supposed to be some square cut, sort of organized piece of mess, but life is sort of flowing, and you need to kind of, I think that the school board needs to acknowledge that students aren't just these sort of robots that will just do everything, but that they should be able to go for what they're passionate about.
Thank you, Bill. Alan, what is the biggest issue facing students today and why?
The biggest issue that I think students face today is that there is a huge discrepancy between what is taught in school and what is required in life. For example, I did a project last year on financial literacy, where students, we surveyed students and they mentioned a lot of life skills such as financial literacy, basic things that you would learn in family studies. It's not being taught, and students, after they graduate high school or post-secondary, wherever they choose to, they don't have enough skills to live well enough on their own. And I believe that we should be addressing this by providing the real-life experience and education in school.
Thank you, Alan. Okay. Question number 4 will be for Matthew and Kachow. Comment on the following quote by Margaret Mead. Never doubt that a small group of thoughtful, committed citizens can change the world. Indeed, it's the only thing that ever has. So once again, comment on the following quote by Margaret Mead. Never doubt that a small group of thoughtful, committed citizens can change the world. Indeed, it's the only thing that ever has. So we'll start with Matthew.
Really, I kind of felt like I need to stand up for this one. I'm not sure why. But a small group of committed citizens, you think of any organization, just literally, like Free the Children or any corporation that we've come to today. And it makes you think about why is it the small groups, why isn't it the big groups? And In a small group, you have human passion. You have human determination that you can communicate with each other. So when you talk about here, if we all went in a workshop together, everyone in this room, I don't think it would work out very well. But you guys are splitting up later, so you can actually communicate these ideas. Thank you.
Thank you, Matthew. Kachow, comment on the following quote by Margaret Mead. Never doubt that a small group of thoughtful, committed citizens can change the world. Indeed, it's the only thing that ever has.
For me personally, when I think of the word successful, one person really comes to mind, and that's Martin Luther King. I really looked up to him when I was young, right? I believe what he did as one voice literally changed America. And I believe every single one of you has the capability to do that. It's all part of us. It's what makes us human, right? And to answer the question, what I really think about that, I believe that, yes, if we all have the passion to change the world and make it a little better, just a little better for everyone else, I think the world can change dramatically. Thank you.
Thank you, Kachow. Question number 5 will be for Kachow and Alan. What can YRDSB schools do to continue to improve students' well-being? So what can YRDSB schools do to continue to improve students' well-being? We'll start with Kachow.
Okay, so I think one thing that can really, really help is if teachers are not only trained to, teachers are kind of trained, have like some courses to kind of identify students which are not physically doing well, right? If they're they should know kind of signs of depression or signs of anxiety, and try to just not make them seek help, but bring them help to the students. I think for me personally, that's what really helped me. So I hope that works for everyone else. Thank you.
Thank you, Kachow. Alan, what can YRDSB schools do to continue to improve students' well-being?
Well, at school is a place where you learn, and I'm sure a lot of us can agree that you learn the best when you're in a place that you feel comfortable and welcomed. And I believe to make sure that students continue to feel, to have good well-being, is to continue to invest in the schools and the school communities themselves. Because with a school board across 9 municipalities, over 123,000 students, it can be really easy to feel like you've been lost in the stream of all the other students. By continuing to invest in each and every school and each and every student, students can feel valued for who they are and continue to put in the effort.
Thank you, Alan. Okay, so the last question from the box. And this last question is for Matthew and Bill. What will you do to support equity and inclusivity as it applies to students? What will you do to support equity and inclusivity as it applies to students? So we'll start with Matthew.
So I think when you think back to the past 20 years, what humanity has done in social reform, it's absolutely incredible. So I think the next step, especially in schools, is acknowledging differences in each other, understanding that everyone's equal. We have that now. But now we need to understand and cater to everyone's personal needs. So, thank you.
Thank you, Matthew. Bill, what will you do to support equity and inclusivity as it applies to students?
I think that equity and inclusivity is really just another term for a way for us to be united. And basically, I feel like the people's voices aren't necessarily heard. It's reaching out to those unheard voices of York Region where people don't always express how they feel or how they think. And they think that the first step would be to firstly acknowledge that it exists, and then we can work to solve it by getting those voices out, getting rid of those stigmas, and making sure everybody feels equal and that they are included in this sort of community that we all are part of.
Thank you, Bill. Thanks to all the candidates for all your answers. We will now move on to part 5 of our process, and that's the audience questions. So there's microphones set up on the floor, and there's one there, and I think there's one over there on that side as well. So what we ask is that you can step up to the microphone. When you come to the microphone, please state your name and your school and then your question. I will then randomly select a candidate to answer the question. Remember, candidates, your answer can only be 30 seconds long. Okay? So I invite you now to come to the microphones.
Hi there, I'm Ajitha, and this is Hannah, and we're from Woodbridge College, and I have a question. So you guys talked a lot about the issues with student passion and how people are leaving school unpassionate, but how will you implement that change?
Okay, so Alan, would you like to take that question?
Of course. So as a member of the Student Council at Baby Secondary School, I've worked with the administration at our school we brought up several ideas that we'd like to kind of improve the well-being of the school. And the first is to just improve the learning environment, the physical learning environment. We're talking about bringing in new furniture, instilling new school spirit with more logos and kind of like school insignias all over the place, repainting the school so that it has more school spirit. It feels more alive for students and like a place that embodies a lot of spirit and something that students can join along in the passion as well. Thank you.
Thank you, Alan.
So, as Ajitha said, my name is Hannah. I'm from Woodbridge College. And the question that I have for you is, out of this entire experience applying for trustee, what's one thing you've taken away? Even if you don't become a student trustee, I guess what's one thing you've kind of learned in doing this entire process?
I'm going to ask Bill to answer this question, please.
Firstly, I think that's a really good question, and it really targets what the values that we have. But what I've learned is that some students out there don't have the voices that need to be heard. Many people out there are just going about their daily lives, living in the school system without having their voices heard. They're just going by whatever they're told. And what I think that's more important is for students to speak up, for them to voice their own concerns so that everyone else knows and that we can address this problem after they've been acknowledged. And that overall, basically, just students have a voice and that they can use it. Thank you.
Thank you. We can get the next, we'll take a question from this side this time.
My name is Ciara Jagan.
And I'm Garv Saini.
And we're from Mackenzie Glen Public School. And our question is, if you were chosen to become a student trustee, what will you change in the next year?
So Matthew, I'll give this one to you.
Well, if elected student trustee, I'm sure any of us would have the same goal, right? We are a manifestation of the student voice. We listen to you guys, whoever comes out to YRPC, we're starting an elementary school, YRPC, starting next year, and stuff like that. So really, a big part of it is we don't get a vote on board matters. We tell them what the students are saying. We are the voice for you, and we amplify it for the students, and we look around, we represent you. We find the students who can't speak. Thank you.
Thank you, Matthew. So we'll go back to this side now.
Hi, my name is Ria.
And my name is Mihal, and we're from Baby Secondary School.
And our question to you is, if you lost your voice permanently, what's the last thing that you would say?
Oh, interesting question. I'm going to give this one to Ka-Chow.
So, great question. Thanks. I think personally, I would say like something like a meme or just make someone laugh. Yeah. I'm a meme. Thank you.
Thank you, Ka-Chow. So we'll come back to this side now. Would you like to ask your question?
Hi, I'm Rhea, and I'm from Bar Oak Secondary School. And I wanted to ask you that if you do become one of the trustees, what is your first order of business?
Okay. So Bill, would you like to take that one?
As a student trustee, my first order of business that I would very strongly advocate for is the integration of technology. But not just the integration, but making it available. I want everybody to be on board and being able to access the technology that is so prevalent in our lives. So what I would do is strongly advocate for every single high school and elementary school to have school-provided laptops or devices that students would be able to either loan or buy discounted. And it would overall, I think, would help people be more connected in a community that is so technologically advanced. Thank you.
Thank you, Bill. Okay, so we'll take a question from this side now.
My name is Haley. I'm from Markham District High School, and my question is, you've talked about being a voice for those who are underrepresented. What communities and groups of students specifically do you believe are mostly underrepresented and that you are going to be the voice for?
Matthew, can you take this one, please?
So there actually are a lot of different groups, and this relates to what we were talking about before with the equity and all that. There are, I would say, mostly minorities that feel they're different from everyone else, that feel that if they talk, they're going to be muzzled, and that nobody's going to listen to them. So really what you can do is start advocating for these kind of groups and opening up those pathways and just including them in the conversation. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Matthew. Back to this side.
Hi, my name is Erica, and I'm from Clear Meadow Public School. And my question is, seeing that you are all males, how will you represent females?
Alan, can you take this one?
Sure. So as a student trustee, we're not the only voices, right? We're just here to amplify the voices. So through the initiatives such as YRPC, the satellite meetings at YRPC, through the elementary YRPC, and through social media, other ways of connecting with us, we're going to be reaching out to everybody, and we'll, like, especially the people that you see at the corner of the room who are on their phones, heads down. Those are the people that we're going to be reaching out to. And we understand that there is the gender imbalance here, and we're going to try to make it a higher, like one of the highest priorities to focus that it's not underheard. Thank you.
Thank you very much. I think we go back to this side, right?
Hi, I'm Gwyneth.
And I'm Abby.
And our question is, we're from some of you, sorry. Our question was that some of you were talking about more personalized education plans, and we were wondering if you could elaborate more on that and share your thoughts.
Kachao, can you take those questions, please?
So more personal, can you repeat that? Like personal education plans?
Yeah, more personalized.
So yeah, I think we teachers, and not only teachers, the board should stop treating everyone as one individual, right? We should focus more on like everyone's different. Everyone's different. We've been through different experiences, and yeah, for that I believe we should have teachers more have an intimate connection with not only the student but with their parents too. So we can have more, like, I guess you guys are gonna hate me, but parent-teacher interviews or like anything else like that. Just more of an intimacy rather than the student-teacher relationship. Yeah, thank you.
Thank you, Kachao. Question from this side.
Hi, my name is Jenna from Baby Secondary School.
And my name is Calvin from Woodbridge College.
And our question is?
As student trustee, how might you set an example for future leaders in schools across York Region District School Board?
Okay. Matthew, can you take this one, please?
I'm sorry, the question was how would we set an example?
Yes. So how would you set an example for future leaders across York Region?
Okay. Well, a leader is not something that when you guys elect us, that doesn't make us a leader. When we set the example for others, that's what makes us a leader. So really, what we're going to be doing is the two of us that are elected, we go to conferences and meet with other student trustees from other school boards, and ideally we'd have an effect on them. We could be a role model for them by just showing them what we do, showing them that we listen to our students, because this isn't a position of power. This is you're choosing who amplifies your voice, right? Who's your microphone for the issues you're thinking about today. And that's what you want to communicate to other people. Thank you.
Thank you, Matthew. Okay, we're probably just going to take about 3 more questions because our time is running short. So we'll go back to this side.
All right. Hi, I'm Christopher Lamb from Silver Stream Public School, and I'd like to ask our student trustees here, how do you plan to bring awareness of your cause to the people of York Region, specifically students and teachers?
So I'll ask Ka-Chow to answer this one, please.
Sorry, just can you repeat that?
How do you plan to bring awareness to the students and teachers of York Region?
So like awareness of everything, of what we're gonna do?
Yes.
I think, to be honest with you guys, I had no idea what a trustee was like until like 2 weeks before I applied. Hey, and I'm glad that I got to know. It's actually awesome. Like we get, like it's just a great opportunity, right? Personally, I think I would like to have a lot more like kind of like online like questionnaires or stuff like that to get like students who actually have concerns to voice out their opinions, right? And we can just do simple like social media, like I post it on like people's, we have like school like Facebook pages and stuff. So yeah, thank you.
Thank you, Ka-Chow. We have time for 2 more questions at this time. I know we can't get to everybody. This side.
Hi, I'm Timothy from Richmond Hill High School. So I would like to ask, why do you think the role of a student trustee is important in our generation and our society?
So Bill, would you like to take this one?
I think that one of the biggest things that students don't understand is that they have a voice, and that voice can be heard. I think as student trustee, our job is to amplify that voice and to bring to light to the staff, to the administration, and to parents in general, the voice that students have. We want them to understand us and what we value instead of just what the school board decides. What we want to do is take your voice and make sure that it's heard by everyone else rather than just keeping it in, and overall just reaching out to those who maybe aren't traditionally that loud. So we want to amplify the voices of those that are quiet.
Thank you. Okay, we only have time for 1 more question, so we'll go to this side.
Hi, I'm Sydney, and I'm from Bill Hogarth Secondary School. So student trustee sounds like a really big responsibility, but at the same time, you guys are still students. So how do you guys intend on like planning out your time so that you guys are still like socially, physically, academically healthy and stuff like that?
So Alan, I'll give this one to you, please.
All right, yeah. So at the end of the day, everybody has varying schedules, and an important life skill that this past year, I've done a lot of stuff in the past year, whether it's student council, cadets, or school. There's a lot of things that I've had on my plate, and I feel like effective time management is a skill that is necessary and is something that I've picked up over the past year, and I will definitely be using that to my advantage, or hopefully the other student trustees would also be using that to their advantage, serving as a student trustee.
Thank you very much. That was great. Thank you to our audience for all your thought-provoking questions. We appreciated the candidates sharing all your thoughts, ideas, and solutions. I know I'm going to be taking some of those back to my own school, and I hope everyone here will do the same. Congratulations to our candidates, and let's give them a big round of applause for all their answers. Okay, finally, we will hear concluding remarks from all our candidates. This time you will speak in reverse alphabetical order. You'll have 1 minute to speak with a 15-second warning. Please stop talking when you hear the bell. So first we'll hear from Ka-Chow.
Okay, I want to stand up for this one. So if you guys have read my bios, I might not be the best student. I'm far from the best student. For those who are watching it live, I was actually suspended on several occasions back in the days when I was back in Montreal. I've been through a lot of rough stuff. It's been a rough journey for me. And when I look at my fellow peers, I really don't want the same for them. It's depressing to see how a lot of you guys, even in this room, are probably going through the same thing, right? So I just want to leave you off with a quick quote. It's really been helping me through this kind of, I guess, journey. It's not the mistakes that actually determine who you are. It's human to make mistakes, right? It's how you fix the mistakes, how you get back up on your feet. That's actually what makes us human and makes us leaders. And with that, thanks.
Thank you so much, Ka-Chow. Now we'll hear from Bill Liu from Richmond Hill High School.
The most important thing in communication is hearing what isn't said. I may not be Bill Nye the Science Guy, but it doesn't take a scientist to realize that mental health is a real issue. But just like how some scientists still don't believe the effects of global warming exist, some students and even parents don't think that mental illnesses exist, but we should be fighting them just the same. Remember the story of Bill? Who knows how many other Bills are out there in York Region? And what about all the Carols or Daniels or Fatimas? And apologies if your names are Daniel or Carol or Fatima. But I'm asking you today to vote, not for who I am, but for who I represent, the unheard voices of York Region. Now, I started off today with an ending, but now I want to end off with a beginning. The beginning of being just a little bit quieter and looking and listening to those around you that you may not listen to. My name is Bill, and I'm running to be our voice. Thank you.
Thank you, Bill. Next, we will have Alan Liu from Bayview Secondary School.
At the end of the day, whether it's playing just one more game of Fortnite, League of Legends, or what may it be, or binge watching an entire season of Netflix in one night, we all have, as students, have many different ways of trying to take our minds off of school and relaxing. However, if our time spent in classrooms isn't spent efficiently, whether it's because of various barriers that still exist and go unnoticed, unchecked, and unaddressed, or a lack of resources, or simply a poor learning environment, that leaves us less time to do the activities and the hobbies and the passions that define who we are at the end of the day. So in order to for us to be the people who we truly are and to be the leaders of tomorrow, we need to have an effective foundation starting right here, right now, today in our schools. My name is Alan Liu, and together we can fight for an ideal learning environment for everyone. Thank you.
Thank you, Alan. And lastly, we'll hear from Matthew Burrows from Huron Heights Secondary School.
You know, I was pretty nervous when I found out I was going to be here today. I was thinking, what if I'm not good enough? What if I'm not elected? But you know what? I get the chance to talk to you guys today, and I feel that's what really matters. So if you could just listen to me for a second and close your eyes. You're going to be all right. That thing that's bothering you, that insecurity, that secret you're not telling anyone, that worry you have, you're going to be fine because you've made it this far. And let me make a wild guess that you don't know where you're going to be in 20 years. You don't know what you want to do with your life. Let me give you a non-exclusive list of the things you can do in the next 20 years. In the next 20 years, you can learn to paint. In the next 20 years, you can climb Mount Kilimanjaro. You can learn the violin. You can save someone's life, and you can fall in love. You know, there's a lot of living that you can do in life, and that's what they don't teach us in school. Thank you.
Thank you very much to all our candidates once again. Before we begin the voting process, I wanted to thank you all again for having me here to be your moderator today. I've enjoyed listening to your ideas and excited to see how we will work together next year and in the future to put your thoughts into action as we work to support our community and learn together. I also want to thank Mingzi Hong and Stephanie Rico, our standing student trustees, for your contributions to the school board. Congratulations on all your hard work. Students, please listen carefully while I explain the voting instructions. Please do not move until I ask you to do so. All students have a white ballot that you received in your name tag at registration. Pencils are on the table. Vote for up to 2 candidates by marking the box beside each name. I suggest that you put an X in the box when you vote. Your vote will not count if more than 2 names are marked, if there's words written on your ballot, or if you rank the candidates. Students may vote once only. Your badge will be hole punched to show that you have already voted. Please line up at one of the ballot box stations at the exit doors of this room. Have your conference badge and ballot ready. You will put your ballot into one of the ballot boxes. If you are voting live stream, your teachers will have shared the voting link with you. Once you have voted, please leave the ballroom to enjoy a light snack. Please do not re-enter the ballroom after you have cast your vote, as we will be setting up for the keynote. Take a 20-minute snack break and return to the ballroom at around 10:50 for a 1-hour presentation from Unity Charity. Votes will be counted, and after the keynote, we will announce the names of our 2 student trustee-elect as voted by you today. A buffet lunch will follow immediately, which will be served in the hallway just outside this ballroom. Lunch will end at 12:50 when you will make your way to your first session. The locations of your session are listed on your badges. A special thank you to Lisa Reinhardt, our returning officer for the day, and to her team for all their hard work. You may now please stand and move to the ballot boxes, and thank you everyone for participating in this process today. Have a wonderful day.
Sorry, just a quick interruption. We don't have anything yet, but if a Diane Lude, if you are here in this room, if you can go to the registration desk, you are in dire need. So thank you, Ken.
So should I say student trustees for next year?
But first start saying like we want to thank the 4 candidates
Yeah,
for all
of
their
course.
courage and then
Yeah.
and then
Yeah. Okay.
So
Or
just
Alan.
like, can I have your
wait.
attention, please?
What's Alan's last name?
Lou. Lou.
Alan, Lou, and Bill Lou?
Liu. Liu. L-I-U and L-U.
Okay.
Hello, everyone. Can I have your attention, please? First of all, I'd like to thank all 4 candidates for being courageous enough to come up here and share their ideas. It really takes a lot of bravery. So can we have a round of applause for our 4 candidates today? So I'd like to announce that next year's student trustees will be Alan Liu and Bill Liu. Again, we thank all 4 candidates for coming out, and we thank all of you for coming out and showing support and being part of Student Voice.
And just to close off our morning here today, we're going to ask Elder Blue to come back to the stage to close everything, to share her closing remarks. Then after we'll have lunch. So, Miss Elder Blue, please. All right, guys, sorry about the confusion. Elder Blue will be speaking after lunch, so you guys are free to head on out, get some food, take a break, and she will speak afterwards. Thank you, guys.
Thank you.